G'day. So I'm about to start planning the next project of our 100 turbo motors per minute goal, and I thought I would just go through the start of how I do that and how I decide what recipes, what to use, and where we're going to build it. So I've been sitting here for a little bit working it all out. What we've decided to use, 1200 circuit boards per minute, what we've decided to use is the alternate recipe here, which uses silica and the copper sheets, just because of the way the resources that we've decided to use. We've already brought in the quartz we need via train, so they're just sitting here to make the silica, and that's coming in by train from somewhere in the map, which I'll probably show later. Almost certainly we'll show that later. Now I'm deciding how we're going to make the copper sheets. So what I went through first is I had a look at making copper ingots with the smelter, and then making the copper sheets with the constructors here. Now that is the most simple way of doing it. However, it's not as efficient on the resources. So doing it this way with the smelter and the constructor, it works out that we're going to need, we have to make 2,640 copper sheets per minute, and it works out that we'll need 264 constructors and 176 smelters, and we will actually need 5,280 copper per minute of the raw resource. So then I compared that with the other method of doing it, which is the alternate recipes in refineries, using pure copper ingot here, and then using the steamed copper sheet. It's much more efficient on the resources. However, it's a little bit more complex because you have to use water. Actually, you have to use quite a lot of water. However, we need, if we do it this way, 118 refineries making the copper sheets, and then we need 71, I rounded it up, making the pure copper ingots, and then we need just over 3,000 water, 3,300 water. But the good thing is, compared to using 5,280 copper, we only use 1,065 copper doing it this way. So I have made the decision, that's what we're going to do. Then I had to decide where I'm going to build it. Where should we build this steamed copper sheet factory? And that's when I go over to the Satisfactory calculator map and have a look at the world. Alright, so here I am in the Satisfactory calculator map with the save game loaded into it. I'm zoomed out fairly far at the moment, and I've actually put the world border in. For anyone that hasn't seen that before, it's reasonably new. You go to map layers and click world border, and what that does is actually bring a red line up, and that shows you the death zone. So if anyone's ever been out to this island here and you die, even if you are using mods, we're not using mods, but even if you are using mods, you will die if you go outside this red line. But it's pretty handy, so you know there's actually quite a lot of water in this map, and especially to the north. I want to know how much area I have to build factories out in this ocean, and it's quite extensive. We'll probably end up doing a nuclear plant out here. But anyway, I've loaded up this map to find out where I'm going to build these copper sheets. So the first thing I'll do is go to resource nodes and hit all the copper nodes up. I've already decided where I'm going to build it, but I'll just show you how I went through that process. And I started looking around for copper. I only need 1,065, so 2 normal nodes essentially, and I want it to be near water, and I've decided to do it here. I'm going to use this copper node here, this copper node here. What I'll do is break this train line because we need 3,300 water and a bit more. I'll break this train line, build a train station here and a factory out here in the water, and I'll do a nice neat copper belt bus from linking these two nodes together, which is more than enough copper, and I'll build that factory, which will have about 190 refineries in it, and it'll be linked into the train system. The last thing I checked before I decided was the oil, because I know there's a lot of oil up here that we're going to be using. So I put all the oil nodes on, and as you can see, all the oil is just over here, so it's not going to be in the way of that. We have this train line here ready to come up here. If it zooms out, and we're probably going to bring this train line up and through the oil area, and also way up to the border here, and along here, and into the top of the desert. And that is about that. That's how I went through my decision process, and I'm going to get started on this factory. Okay, so I've come down here. I've started planning out building the location of it. There goes one of the trains that's getting the crystal. So here's where I'm going to build the train station. I've just cut the line here and I've put a little intersection there. I'm going to build a train station there. I've got a Mark III miner on the copper node there, and there's another copper node down there somewhere. It looked pretty close on the map. It's actually pretty far, but I'll do a nice neat bus line, picking up these two copper nodes, bring it onto the train station. That's where I'm going to get the power from, and then the factory itself will probably be out here somewhere. So yeah, I just took the Hypertube launcher and ended up landing up over here. Also, since we're up here, you can see that I've actually started walling up the motor factory. But now that I've changed a few settings and got a new computer, it's not too bad. The FPS is actually pretty good. So yeah, I'll come back when I've finished building this train station and done a bit more work on getting it all set up. Okay, so I've planned out how I'm gonna do most of the logistics for the factory. I've done the circle here. This will go off to the desert eventually, so that'll just sit there for now. I've got the 4 output lines, because it's going to take 4 output lines coming from the factory. The factory is going to be out here somewhere, coming underneath the train lines into the train station, and these 2 here are going to be the inputs, so the 2 normal nodes of copper coming in. So 2 in, raw resource, 4 out, the steamed copper sheets. And I'll just show a quick little tour of what I've planned. The copper sheets will come up here, and then I'm going to have to do a nice big bus line going up to the 2 normal nodes of copper. And this is all going to obviously get capped off and looking nice, showing the way I do it. Alright, I've done a bit more work on the bus, so I'm just doing the bus line to get the copper in. I like to spend a bit of time on my buses. I like to make them neat, so it takes a bit of time, but I think it's worth it. So I'm coming over here, coming up here. It's not finished yet, obviously. It's going to look a lot neater. These need to be grounded down, but that's going to be easy. I'm just setting up the shell of it. That's going to continue on. So I've already got 1 copper node in. This one's going to continue on to the south and get that copper node that's over there. I've come up nice and neatly up to this first one, which is the close one, the easy one. Basically there. And again, this is all on the grid. So it's all nice and neat. So that's the first one done. The second one's going to take a little bit longer, but I think I'll come back once I finish that one and show you the nice neat copper bus. Alright, so I've finished the copper bus for 2 copper nodes, so let's take a quick look at that before the sun goes down and it gets too dark. So here it is. You can actually have a good look at the motor factory here. That's a little hypertube cannon that comes out there. Anyway, there's the node. Done some nice neat belt work and power line work. Comes up here into this, and we come along these nice neat junctions. I've lost hopper pack power, but that's alright. I'll get it again here. Comes along through the poison. Alright, and we've got a nice setup all the way from the node all the way down to the factory. Righto, so planning out the factory still. Got the 4 lines coming out there for the copper sheets, and there's our 2 input lines. I'm probably going to have all the refineries, not refineries, water extractors in the water along here somewhere, maybe along the back. I haven't planned out the exact dimensions, but what I'm just going to quickly show here before I build it is a little tip. A lot of you probably already know, but with the hover pack now, make sure you've got power to where you're going to do it. If you are building in vanilla, this is very handy. You can make yourself with the hover pack directly in line with the foundation, and then you can just hold your mouse in one spot and just spam the keyboard and then just slowly move along like this. Sorry if my mouse is very loud, I will sort that out eventually, but this is just for anyone that didn't know. I'm sure a lot of people already know. Just use the hover pack to your advantage, and it's going to make building big foundations a lot easier if you are playing without mods. Yeah, so that'll do for now, and I'll smash down a whole lot of buildings and things and see where we're at in a little bit. And there we go. A nice big massive foundation to work with, and it only took me a minute or so. Rightio, so I've done a bit more work now. Planning out the copper ingot part of it. So that's going to take 72 refineries to turn all of this copper in the pure recipe in here into 2,655 copper ingots per minute. What you see here is a row of 36 refineries. I'm going to have to do that again. The platform I had out before, I had to make it a bit bigger. And yeah, that's going to deal with this copper. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to run the bus lines in. So this is one 600 line of copper. This 36 will deal with it. And not exactly, as in the numbers aren't exact, but I'm getting slightly over what I need, which is usually what I do. If anything, I'll round it up so I get more than I need. And it's turning out that this factory is going to be pretty big. I haven't decided, because I still need 118. Once I duplicate this line here, I need 118 more refineries to make the copper sheets. I don't know if I'm just going to keep making this factory just wider or whether I'll go up higher. I'm thinking I'll just go wider. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Water's going to come in here. I'm going to put a few refineries here, water extractors, and that'll be it for the copper ingots. Alright, finally done the copper ingot part of it. We're doing 2,700 copper ingots per minute in these 72 refineries here, and there's 4 water extractors down that end. Now I only have 120 refineries to go. It's 118, but I want to be able to divide it into 4 rows of 30, so I'm going to put 120. We have enough copper because I like to build things. When I round things up, I like to round them up, so I have more resources than I need rather than less. So here we have the 4 lines split evenly, and then I'm going to feed these into another 4 rows of 30, making 120, which is going to get us our 2,640 copper sheets per minute to go back onto the train station. And I've left enough room to bring 4 lines down here and go back into the train station. I'm going to, while this is running, go back to the main base and restock on paint because I've ran out of paint. But just before I do that, I'll just quickly show the map. Let's bring that up here. So here we are. I did the little nice neat bus line to get these 2 nodes here, these 2 copper nodes. Put the train station in. It's going to take 4 train stations. There's the in and out bus of the copper ore. Just here is the nitrogen pickup station. So what I might do is have 4 rows, 4 production lines out this way, and just build it a nice big flat factory, nice and simple, not too nothing too crazy here. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, and just before I go any further, I'll quickly show what we're doing here. This is a very, very, very basic spreadsheet that me and Fry have been sharing. Sheet 1 is from our modded playthrough where we're tracking all the numbers of everything we're building. As you can see here from the previous playthrough. And then this down here are 100 turbo motors. It's a very basic tracking system for us to know, for us to share. So up the top left here, turbo motors. We're doing it in the alternate recipe, and then we've just got requires these 4 factories here, and then those require, and so on and so forth. And then once we've made a factory, we'll color it green so we know where we're at. Obviously we've done the motors already, that big motor factory I built in a previous episode, and the quick wire we've done. I've shown the copper side of that, but I'll show the rest of that a little bit later. Right now what I'm working on is these 1020 circuit boards, but also I'm going to make the 90 as well, and I'm working on making 1200 circuit boards per minute. To do that I need to bring these sheets into the base. Alright, I'll come back when I've laid out a few more refineries, I guess. Alright, so I have planned out exactly how I'm going to do it and the amount of factory floor I'm going to need, and I've laid it out. I've got the lines going back. These are going to be 4 lines with the copper sheets. So I've got the 2 rows here making the ingots, and now I have, for lack of a better word, a prototype of what I'm going to do. So this will be 4 rows of 30 refineries, each of them making the copper sheets, corresponding with these 4 rows here. And it's going to be, what did I calculate it to be? So 22.5, yep, 22.5 times 30 is, yeah, so 675 per line, which is why I've needed to use 780 belts, and that's it. So the water is going to take a fair bit of water. I actually have to have what I've got here on the other side as well, so feeding it with water from both ends. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll just quickly come over here, grab this. Alright, so this is the map here. I've turned the fog of war off. I'll put it back on. Alright, so I haven't actually explored all the way up there. If I just go to world border, put world border on. Alright, zoom out. Once that loads in, you'll see actually there's a lot more room out here to build stuff. So I'll probably have a nuclear plant here soon. I'll just zoom in here. So that's what it looks like. I have to put these 8 water extractors down on this end, mirror it. Hopefully it fits in here without looking too silly. What I hope with the train lines here is, let's just bring the game back up. What I'm hoping is that I can actually, with this train line over here, when we go north with it, hopefully the train will just go over the top of those water extractors. If it doesn't, I'll either make it go higher or move it out of the way, but yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'll probably just chuck it on stream. I don't often do stream, and I'll see if I can get this done today. I'll put a link to the stream. Alright, let's go do that. Alrighty then, after many hours of hard work and fixing errors, it is finally finished. So I'll just do a quick little look over it. I did need to mirror this on the other side, but it didn't fit in. So what I've done is I've added power shards, and these 2 water lines from this end and the other end, they meet in the center. So I'll just duck under here and have a quick look. You can see. And we're now producing 2,700 copper sheets per minute. Is a fair bit of work, and I did do it on stream. And if you're interested in the long version of it and all the trials and tribulations I had to go through to get it done, I should put a link up in the comments and on the screen right now. But it's turned out really good. There's the 4 lines there. It's all stacked up because I've been playing around with trains. That's temporary, that's going to disappear. I just don't have enough inventory space at the moment to grab the remaining stuff that was left over. And as you can see, none of it's moving because it's all completely backed up into the train station. So what I'll quickly go through is, and if you do watch the stream towards the end, you'll see I almost lost my mind with the train, the way it's set up. But what I've been doing for the past few hours is working it out, and I've actually found out how to make these circles work, and I'll tell you what the error is with the trains. So when you're doing, this looks nice and neat and it works sort of. The problem with trains is when you have 4 lines all hitting in the same spot. So this is actually 4 options all hitting, so there's 2 lines there and there's 2 lines there, and they're all meeting in this one spot. So when you're connecting it, the train can only connect, so if I was to connect, for example, a piece here, it doesn't know, so I've just put a piece in there, it doesn't know whether it's connected to this one or this one, and there's no way to know which one you're connecting it to. So that's this. It does look nice and simple. However, what I'll do is I'll have to go around and fix up all the ones. There's 7 in total in the world so far, but I've come up with a solution. And what I'll do is now I'll go over and I will show you what that solution is. Alright, and here we are over at the power station area, I guess. And here is one of the intersections. I've done 2 of them so far. That provides the solution for trains always being jerks. Okay, so before, when I said on the previous ring intersection, I had this section here and it was 4 lines all meeting into one connection. That is where things go wrong. This solution is slightly wider circle in order to affect that not happening. So let's just bring out the delete key and you'll see how I've only ever got, the key factor is, what I found, is you only ever have 2 lines ever meeting. Otherwise, if you have 2 lines meeting from one end and 2 lines meeting from the other end, like in the previous one I just showed, that's when things can go not according to plan. Alright, so this solution is slightly more complex, but it's all neat, symmetrical, and works. It works. That is the main thing. Right, and as you'll see, the trains have no dramas, doing the things that they need to do. And I've tested it out, and it's actually calmed me down a lot because I was losing my mind. Alright, so the only other thing you have to do is, when you are setting it up, even if it's a 3-way intersection, not a 4-way, you will have to build some blank tiles out here and build these ones just to get the right perfect curve coming back in the other way. And then if you don't want this, I might keep this here for now. You just delete it. So I could, if I wanted to, I could delete then these ones, which I'm not going to do now because I may build a factory out here, so I'm going to leave them there as an option. But if you are going to do it, you will need to build templates. I guess you call them a template train line to get these nice curves. Anyway, that's something I'll have to crack on with later. I'm going to leave it there for this episode. That's 2,700 copper sheets per minute. Now the next project we have, I've started planning out nuclear, and it is a massive, massive beast what we're going to do. I won't go into it now, but it took me a while to plan out because what we're doing is we're doing nuclear and plutonium. So we're going to do 70 nuclear plants and turn all of the waste into plutonium and shred it so we have no waste to deal with. That's like phase 1, I guess. And then phase 2 is actually using all the plutonium to build another nuclear plant. But anyway, that'll be coming up in a week or so, and it's going to take me probably 3 episodes to fully do that nuclear plant, depending on how much help I get from Fry. Alright, well I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and catch us later.